This is Pat's personal portrait. In this case, it happens to be somebody that I know and that you know, hopefully, from the 9 to 12 radio shift on KTAR. But we're not going to be talking about radio and most of the talk show subjects that you cover. We're going to be talking about the loss of a young man over this past weekend, Dan Wheldon, in Las Vegas on the Speedway. And I believe it was only 12 or 13 laps that had taken place already before that horrific accident.
Yeah, it happened on lap 10, early in the race.
And I'm asking you because you're a race car driver.
Yeah.
Okay, as a race car driver, sprint car driver, right?
Yeah.
As a sprint car driver, a professional, don't you really believe that the majority of people go to races to see crashes?
I don't want to believe that. I really don't.
In your heart.
Listen, I know that there's a percentage of people that there's the thrill in there. I want to believe that people go to motorsports and go to any of the races, the ones I participate in, or Indy cars like this weekend, or even the NASCAR events, that there's a chance something could happen, and they like to see drivers and race cars dance along that edge. But I think most people know how devastating it is when you step over that edge, and they don't go specifically to see that. I want to believe that. Am I naive? Oh boy.
You sound like you haven't convinced yourself.
Well, listen, I mean, hey, there's a percentage of the population that, wants to have public executions as well. I just don't think that's the large majority of people out there. But I think part of the problem you get is the most popular form of racing in the United States is NASCAR. And NASCAR has, even with the deaths of Dale Earnhardt Sr. years ago and a few other drivers, a pretty good safety record. And they have these fantastic crashes where cars go end over end and 15, 20, 30 cars crash into one another.
And how do they survive?
And everybody gets out and walks away.
But how do they survive? How do they get out and walk away?
Well, the difference between a stock car and Indy car are dramatic. They are absolutely dramatic. I want you to keep in mind that in NASCAR, you're dealing with a full roll cage around a roof over the head of the driver. And in the case of the Indy cars and the problems that we've had with Indy cars recently and the fatalities that we've had, there's been about 4 of them over the last 10 years. Almost all of them have involved something coming in through the top of the cockpit or the driver's helmet striking something. And I unfortunately think, looking at the video like I did of Dan Wheldon's accident, that the car got into the wall or the fence cockpit side first, open cockpit, and your helmet is the thing that sticks up out of the top of the cockpit.
And the video that I saw looked like a tire was also coming in his direction.
Possibly another car involved, but you are exposed in open wheel racing in Indy cars, and even in my racing, even though we have roll cages like that, the injuries that come from my form of racing is something coming in and getting into the driver's head.
When you sit in that sprint car, now be honest with me, don't you think, hey, you know what, I could be in a serious accident regardless of the safety factors around you?
I won't speak for other people because I don't know. It's something that drivers don't talk about. I've never had that discussion with another driver. Speaking for myself, I think about it all the time. I can't think of a racetrack that I've ever been to or a race I've been involved in where I wasn't aware that what I was doing was really dangerous. And
then why do you do it?
I believe I can control it. I believe that my skills have gotten to the point now where it wouldn't happen to me. And I believe that in the heat of the moment, that even if somebody else were to make a mistake and cause me to have an accident, that I would be okay. I've convinced myself of that. I believe that.
You have family members that are close to you.
I do.
Do they understand why you race?
No. My mother cannot watch me race. She's been to one race and she got sick to her stomach and left. She left three laps into it. She didn't see much at all. I have other family members and friends who originally thought kind of my racing was fun and it's interesting, and they've come out to the races. I had a pretty bad accident a year ago, and since then they approach the racing very differently, and they worry a little more.
If your mother asked you not to do it anymore, what would you do?
I think she knows better. I really do. I think she knows better than to say it. I think she knows how much I love it, what a passion it is for me. and how I also accept that so many other things in life are very dangerous as well. And I know that driving to work on I-10 every day has an element of risk and danger to it, because I hear Detour Dan talk about accidents, and I cover them on the news, and I know about the tragedies that happen on the roads around us all the time. It doesn't stop me from driving to work or driving home any more than accidents on the racetrack stop me from racing.
I'll miss Dan Wheldon. I know you will too.
Yes, sir.
Race car fans, I know, agree at least on that point. I don't want to miss you, so take care.
I promise to do good.
Drive safely. Pat's personal portrait of Bruce St. James, occasionally a sprint car driver, 9 to 12, weekdays on KTAR. Much safer.
A little bit.